Hey, everybody, welcome to Love and Relo, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I'm so blessed and honored to be here with my good friend, Gabe Abshire, the founder and CEO of Move Concierge, here in Dallas, live in the Glomo studios here. Gabe, how you doing today?
Man, happy to be here, man. Love the energy in the space.
You know, it's so good to have people come through, especially local entrepreneurs, especially people that are in the relocation industry. Gabe, I actually met you. Remember where we met?
I did in Vegas.
In Vegas. And now it wasn't like that, y'all. Okay. We met in Vegas. It was at a work function.
I'll tell the side story later if you want to, how we really met. No, I'm just joking. It was on a rooftop.
It was around a pool. It was a pool party. No, but it was the Worldwide ERC party, party with a purpose in Vegas.
Yep.
And you were there, and I think I was at the buffet, which is, let's set this face. That's a good place to find me.
It was good grub.
It was good grub. And and I met you and I struck up a conversation with you, and I was really struck by your business model and how appropriate the relocation space and the moving space is for Move Concierge. So I want to talk a little bit about what you do. I want to talk a little bit about how you support people when they're moving and relocating, how you partner with all the companies in the relocation industry. I want to hear about your entrepreneurial journey as well. So we're going to talk a lot about stuff.
How much time we got? I thought there was an hour.
A lot.
Day.
Yeah, a lot.
Awesome.
Hey, get in the comments, hit that like button. I want to know who you are, where you are, what's going on. And let's get in here. I got Adrian Grimes checking in. Nice to meet you, Gabe. Welcome to Global HQ. Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate you. Get in the comments. Who are you? Where are you? We got London checking in here. Richard, looking forward to the broadcast. Richard, how much are utilities over there? What are you paying for electricity, for gas? I'm really curious because I don't know if you know this, but when I met you, we didn't do anything. And then like a year later, 2 years later, whatever, we started exploring ways to work together. And the first customer that I ever referred to Move Concierge was myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And because what y'all
secret shopping action?
Well, I was desperate. I was paying like $800 a month on my electric bill.
Damn.
I know. And so I'm like, I was like, hey, forget all these other people. We're going to refer to you guys. Can you help me out?
Can you help me?
Can you help me first? I'm bleeding out over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop the bleeding. And I talked to Jeff on your team. I don't know if you know this, right? I talked to Jeff on your team. He referred me to, I think his name was Jim, and in your call center right here. And is it Flower Mound? Where are you guys?
Farmers Branch.
I was getting those two confused.
No, they're
Flower
close.
Mound, Farmers Branch. Anyway, and the guy got back to me in like 5 minutes. He asked me questions for like 7 minutes maybe, and switched over my electric and saved me $400 in 1 month.
There's so many people like that that are in that situation. Look, I mean, most home service bills are on auto pay, right?
Yeah.
You don't check it. They're just coming through. And every once in a while, you'll get a bill and like, golly, am I really paying that much for that? And that's when you check into it. And so most people are living life on auto pay and they don't see it, right?
Living life on auto pay has to be a book.
I know, right? So we love those customers that come in and say they're paying $800 or they say they're with a certain
because you can help them right off the bat, right?
Oh, it's like, when you say you're with a certain electric provider, we know, boom, we can save you 30%.
Okay. Yeah. So and that was my situation. I moved into my home. I had relocated to Dallas. I didn't shop my utilities. I just called Progress Energy or whatever. I don't know if that's the local.
Well, what most people do when they go to move,
TXU or something.
Yeah, they just call who they have and say, hey, I'm moving.
Yeah.
Right. Can you move my utilities over? And then what do you think that company's going to do that you've been with for 6 years, or 4 years? They're going to go, oh, no problem. They're not going to go, oh, well, let me tell you about these new rates we have for new customers. Let me see how we can save you some money. No, they're just like, oh, we'll just switch you off at your same rate. But when people move, it's a chance to reset and just go, okay, well, what's new in my area? What's the latest and greatest, and how can I save some money?
Well, and I didn't realize that once my 12-month period or whatever was up, that it would revert to some sort of crazy rate.
Yeah, exactly.
What happens after 12? And guys, we're going to get into a lot of stuff here, but we're talking about me right now, so just bear with me.
Yeah.
What happens though? How does that work? That it reverted to I went from like 14 cents a kilowatt hour or something like that to like 22 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah, so you're in a contract period for 12 months, 24, 36 months, and then after that, you get out of that contract period. They sent you a piece of mail.
Probably.
Maybe they didn't email you, they didn't text you, they didn't call you, they didn't send smoke signals. They sent you a piece of mail,
Yeah.
and that's what's required by law, right?
I don't
and so
check
you
my
go
mail that
from
much.
well, no one does, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point. So it goes from a contract rate to a month-to-month rate. So that's where you get that jump from a 12 to 14 cents to a 20, 25 cents a kilowatt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what happened. And then summer hit, so that probably happened in like February. And then summer hit, and then it's 100 degrees, it's 100 degrees. And then they start getting other pieces of paper in the mail with like big figures on it, like $800 for an electric bill. Like that's
big.
That's like, I was my rent. Like when I first like left college, like that was my whole month of rent.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. And so I, yeah, so you guys saved me like $400 per month. So I mean, I don't know what for a year, probably it was like maybe over $1,000 probably you guys saved me.
Right, $400 per month, you're gonna say about $4,000.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was probably, you cut my bill in half.
Yeah.
You know, and it goes down in the wintertime, whatever. So, you know, I'm curious, you know, what people are seeing out there, if this has ever happened to you or not, if it's the same way in other parts of the country. We got Jillian checking in from CT, Connecticut. Annie, nice meeting you, Gabe. Glad you're here. So cool when people stop by. Come through the Glomo Studios. If you're going to be in Dallas, come through. We got video games. We got Topo Chico. You know, we got some adult beverages. I mean, we're having fun over here. You know, come through. Richard saying on the question of utilities in the UK, it's increased to the point of pain. For the first time ever back in winter, we would sit in blankets watching TV rather than keep the heating on.
Wow.
Where do y'all serve? Do y'all support
Nationwide.
Richard out here?
No one in Europe yet.
No one in Europe. So you got to stay in those blankets, Richard.
Texas domination, nationwide domination, then we'll move over.
Okay, so US. Okay. Yeah. What about any Canada or no?
No Canada. Right
so
now.
just sorry, Richard. Just people in the
50,
US, buddy.
Lower 50.
Speaking of US, watch party at USI Law. What's up, Nan Park over there, principal at USI Law, our favorite immigration attorneys up there. Good to see you, buddy.
We do help a lot of people moving from overseas to the States, right? So we do a lot of that, right?
So people that are inbound. So people that work with USI Law, for instance, when they come over to the US, what are some of the problems you encounter with people that are challenges that they may encounter when they come over to the States?
So number one, it's just completely different, right? I mean, we have choice over here for electricity in Texas, and then all your other basic home service, you have choice. But then one thing we run into is just, you know, citizenships papers, passport information, like, you know, maybe you're not a citizen yet. So we have basically a guy with all the utilities that we can call and say, hey, here's information, here's the situation. We can work through that a lot easier than someone moving on their own and having to sit on hold and deal with all that. So we work with a partner that we deal with a lot of international moves. And so it's definitely something we can help with.
And it might be the first time they've ever had to do it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, they can be probably pretty lost or whatever.
Yeah, so it's great for someone moving across the country with a family of 4, but it's even better for folks that are moving from overseas here.
Now, what is an expat coming over here pay for that service?
Today it's free, so it's provided.
But not tomorrow. No, today.
Yeah,
today. Call now.
Yeah. No, I mean, and we're partnering with some folks in the relocation space, so that's a service that those companies provide to their clients that are moving over from overseas.
Wow. So y'all partner with, I mean, so really who might be a good partner for Move Concierge?
So in the relocation space, I mean, somebody that's helping somebody move, right? I mean, companies that are helping move. From a company perspective, think about this. I mean, it takes a customer an average of kind of 2.5 days on the phone, two to 3 half days on the phone, right? And we save them about $1,000 the first year in their home, right? So from an employer, you're going to want, if you're hiring somebody, you're bringing somebody in, you want them at work as soon as possible, right?
Ideally, yeah, you're paying them.
So we're gonna save you that time, and then when we schedule all their installs, we do it we're very organized about it. So we try to knock it out all in one day versus them having to take a half day here, a half day here.
Yes.
And so we're saving employers time.
Yeah, they're not taking a half day off of work because they got to go home and meet the cable guy or meet the electric person or meet the internet install.
Exactly. So that could add up. If you do that on every other day, then you got 3 or 4 days that you're taking half days. So we try to schedule everything in order and on the right days.
This is awesome. Hey, Dad, I got my dad checking in here. Dan from Tulsa. Good to see you, Dad. Got questions here. Look at the Europeans coming with I guess you're not even European anymore, are you? You guys left, right? Richard said, I would like to ask whether ESG is a driver in the USA, introduction of meters to monitor consumption, et cetera. And is the pressure coming from the government or from the consumer? You know, it's kind of off topic, but it's an interesting question. There's so much more focused on sustainability over there in Europe. It's something they're kind of way ahead of us on. Do you see that at all, you know, as you're exposed to kind of the utilities, you know, industry? Do you see like any pressure locally? You know, do they fine people? Do they try to limit consumption in any way? Is there other ways to manage it? Anything
No,
like
they're not. It's more of a carrot than a stick situation. And so your electric providers will give you incentives to lower your electricity usage in certain parts of the day, but it's much more of a carrot than a stick.
Yeah, you know, I just thought of that because Texas is unique, right? We're on our own grid here.
Well, it's deregulated, and so there's options for electricity.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it seems like I know we stress the grid sometimes, and so they give pricing that's different by time of day.
Some providers do.
Some providers do that.
But I would say that's a trick. Just get you a flat rate.
Just get a good flat rate
for 12 or 24 months, and just deal with the ebbs and flows.
So, what services do you? I mean, we talked about electricity and stuff, but I mean, what other services do you concierge in the move?
Yeah, so I mean, you mentioned the Move Concierge. So we just changed the name from Utility Concierge to Move Concierge. So we've been Utility Concierge for 14 years.
Wow!
And so with that, we've really perfected the process of setting up people's home services and utilities when they move, right? And so the move to Move Concierge, we're going to start offering more services in that pre-close space and then also the post-close, right? So really everything that you need when you're moving into the home, we're going to take care of for you. So we're going to add movers into that equation, address changes, things like that to make that move seamless. And then we're going to stay in touch with that customer for the lifetime that they're in the house.
Wow. That's really interesting. So right now, presently, if someone wants to partner with you for their employees, some of the most popular services that you work on would be what?
So we're gonna get their basic utility set up. So
electric,
water, gas, electric, TV,
gas,
internet, phone, and home security.
TV, internet, phone, home security.
Right. And then we're going to help with movers, although in your space, you work with a lot of relocation companies and movers. So, but we do have a unique process in our the way we refer movers. So part of Move Concierge, we give the customer choice. Mm-hmm. So we want to give them, you know, where there is a choice. There's no choice on water or gas or electricity in some parts of the country, but we want to give you really 3 options. And so with the Move, we partner with a company where they can go in and video their whole house, send that to the moving company, and they're going to give us 3 quotes to give back to the customer.
Yeah.
So no more, again, saving time, right? You can flip over your phone, you can video your house, they'll give you a quote and they'll guarantee that quote.
Yep.
Right. And then you got 3 options to pick from, and there you go.
That's really slick, because I've seen companies that do the video surveys out here, but now you're doing 3 video surveys with 3 different companies.
One survey that's going to go to 3
You're
companies.
talking about is doing one survey and sourcing to 3 companies, getting it back, and then having that guarantee, I guess, from Move Concierge that these companies are going to honor these prices, and that that they're vetted.
Right.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's really cool. I'm really curious. This is such a fascinating business model to me. It's something I've been in the relo space for, gosh, that's a long time. I don't know, 14 years, maybe more now, probably 16 years now. And I hadn't really come across this service being offered. You know, we talk about white glove service, these transferees. We talk about VIPs, VVIPs, how many EVVIP, and yet I've not seen this service offered widely. And now I'm seeing you starting to get traction and starting to get other companies that are like, hey, wait, this is an opportunity to offer this, and it's really cool, and we've seen a lot of interest in it. But what made you think of this in the first place?
Yeah, so I really started this industry in 2009. Okay. Right. So I guess the industry is kind of named after us. So when our vendors talk about companies like that, it's like concierge style companies, mm-hmm. right? And so it's really cool that the industry is named after us. But so a little bit of background of how I started it. I started a satellite installation company in 2004. And so we did installs for Dish Network and DirecTV. Okay. And so we had 250 installers doing installs in my hometown of Port Arthur, Dallas, about 150-mile radius of Dallas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. And so we did that for since to 04, and then in 07, I bought a home security company.
So were you at that point like a subcontractor to Dish or
right?
DirecTV?
So I just had to build the machine, build the technicians. They would give us the work. Gotcha. Right? And so we did that for 3-4 years, and then 07, I bought a home security company, and wanted to kind of get back into my sales roots. And so I said, look, I got satellite and I have security. Let's go see if we can go sell this to the people who are in their homes. Right? We're in 400 homes a day. Surely we can sell some security. Yeah. Well, no, satellite technicians want to get in, do their job, and they don't want to do anything else. Yeah. Right. So you would think, pay some extra money to do this. They didn't want to do that. And so I said, okay, well, why don't I go to real estate professionals and say, send me your customers and we'll sell them these things when they move into a new home. And that worked marginally. It was okay. But in 2008, that satellite installation industry really slowed down, and they were only giving jobs out to people that had good install rates, right? So we had good install rates. We're in the low 80s. But I really started digging into the KPIs and figuring out like, okay, we're driving an hour plus to the house. I'm not getting paid. The technician's not getting paid unless the job gets in. So what's going on? So what we really found out is that people were moving, right? They would be moving in, and that was back in the day when you had to have your TVs there. Well, the TVs were there, but somebody forgot to turn electricity on. Electricity's on, TV's still in the moving truck, right? So we're not getting these jobs in. And so in 2009, when I started Utility Concierge, it was, instead of send me your clients and we'll sell them these things, send me your clients and we'll help them, right? We'll help them through this process, because we saw firsthand how stressful it is, right? You're moving, you got all this stuff going on, you forget to turn your electricity on, right? Or your moving truck's late because your TV's still on it. And so we really shifted that from send me your clients and we'll sell them to send me your clients will help them through this top 5 most stressful thing that they can do in their life. Right. And we're going to do that in a few ways. We're going to give the real estate professional or the referral partner credit for that. We're going to add value to the transaction. We're going to add value to them, right? There's no use going to create this market when someone already has it. Let's just go in, add value, and give the service away to them.
Well, and that's what I love about the foundational principle of your business model, is that it's a win for the consumer. It's a win for the referring partner, the realtor, the relocation management company, the mover, whatever. And it's a win, obviously, for the utility service provider or cable company or whatever, because they get a new customer, right? So everybody gets a win. And I feel like recruitment is like a business model that's also like that, where there's a win-win-win, where the candidate, the employer, and obviously the recruiting firm, wins. And I think that's just, I love business models like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a win-win-win situation. And the way we structure it with putting the referral partner first, and then we give the customer power of choice. That was number 2. Power of choice. We don't really care what you get. We want to make sure you get what fits your needs, right? We're not trying to upsell you. Like, what do you need? That's what we're going to get for you. Yeah. And then the last one is just easy, transparent communication, right? We know they're moving. It's stressful. We know the ins and outs of the moving process. Yeah. I don't ever want people to think that they're talking to somebody in a call center. I want that we tell our concierge that, look, talk to the people like they're your best friend. Yeah. Because when you're talking to your best friend about things, you're going to be direct to the point. You're going to know them, and you're going to refer things that they need. Yeah. And then also recommend things with integrity, like you're talking to your mother.
Well, and that's kind of the vibe I got when I talked to the guy, at your company. It was, first off, I could tell he was sitting in the United States. Sure. Which, to be honest with you, I used to work in call centers. I feel like there's a lot of language barriers sometimes, and I'm just trying to kind of communicate a concept, and I feel like that's the first part to building trust for me. And I was pleasantly impressed, and I don't want to say surprised, but maybe surprised, because you don't call people on the phone or get calls on the phone a lot of time, and you feel like you're talking to somebody from the U.S. unless you're like in the platinum, the platinum line for American Airlines or something like that. So that was 1. 2, it was a consultative approach. He asked me a few questions, got to know my situation, realized, electric is really probably the only thing I need at this juncture. We can maybe table these other. He let me know what you guys could do, but he wasn't like pushing it on me. Yeah. He realized, hey, this guy just needs some new electric. We're just gonna
take a few minutes to get to know the customer, and then you can recommend what they need, right? Because it saves time. We save people time, money, and stress. And it's, if we don't have that organized approach, then we're just wasting time on the phone with people.
Yeah, it was really, and that's the thing. I mean, I literally did it. I was running into an EO meeting, and I literally did it like right, but it literally took me 7 minutes. I was walking in the meeting. You know, when you're about to, I mean, you're a busy guy, right? Like you're walking into a meeting. I just got to get this done real quick.
Yeah,
and you value people that are efficient.
A lot of that is comes from my personality. It's like, look, not everybody's like me, obviously, but I think people will appreciate efficiency and not wasting their time. So that's really what we do. And then the other thing that he was probably happy because we have a great culture, right? I mean, there's so many people that work on the phone and they have just a crappy culture.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the things I'm most proud of is that we've created an amazing company filled with amazing people.
Yeah.
And we've created a great culture. And, you know, people make it a big deal about it, which I'm happy for and I'm very proud of. But like, I just don't understand. I don't see any other way. Like you're talking to my customer. If you're not happy, what do you think you're going to give over the phone? Right?
You can't be pissed off at work and then be pleasant to a customer.
Yeah, you can't.
It doesn't
be that
work
fake,
that way. Yeah,
you know?
It doesn't work that way. And also, Anyway, I've been to your office too because I mean, y'all are right here, and you're gracious enough to every quarter, you know, host one of the entrepreneur events that I'm a part of, and you've been through that program too, I believe.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's another.
I led it for a couple of years. That's a great program.
That's another give back. It's EO and EOA is what I'm in, little EO, and that honestly, that give back of your space because you got this incredible office space is really cool.
Well, I'm super happy to do it, man. I like having the people in the office, like the energy, and like I said, I led that program for a couple of years, and it's really the value that program delivers is awesome.
Yeah,
EO members should spend more time in that program.
It's really cool. And I'll be there next Tuesday for our execution day, I think. Hey, let's get some questions here. Hit that like button. Get in the comments if you got questions about, you know, utilities and moving and Move Concierge. If you've got, you know, ideas on partnership or you want more clarification on something, get in the comments. I love your comments here. Nafis checking in here. Nafis says, do you offer rental cars and insurance? It is an area when short-term contingent workers also have an issue with similar issues with utilities. Just for background, Nafis is a principal at USI Law, and so he deals with a lot with expats and contingent workers from abroad.
We don't offer rental cars. We are going to be, as we're moving into that kind of homeowner concierge, that lifetime connection, we're going to be offering a lot more services, but rental cars aren't on the list. We partner with a lot of insurance companies, and we're looking to add that to the portfolio in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I would think homeowners insurance could be an opportunity for sure. I remember when I moved in the house, I never had homeowners before. I just wanted it now, and I wanted a good price on it.
Yeah.
Didn't plan on using it, so I didn't really care much about it, to be honest.
We'll offer it in the future, but we got to remember a lot of our business comes from the real estate community. Yeah. So, you know, we've got to be careful on how we don't step on toes. And so, but yeah, I mean, we're getting more and more people that are asking for it, so it'll be something we're out in the future.
Yeah. Let's see here. Got some questions here. Richard, Gabe, is the administration which Move Concierge handles, or do you also introduce hardware such as meters, which might tie the customer to a given utility provider? So do you do any hardware or just the service you sell?
No, we just turn the service on. The hardware is all handled by the service provider.
So Richard, to your question, like a cable provider might bring a dish or might bring a box, you know, something like that. The meters here in the U.S. are pretty standard. I don't know who supplied those originally, but houses are just built with electric meters. Okay, yeah. Richard saying service sounds like it's pretty very broad. So if a client uses you on one address, do they have an account with you which they can take and apply at another address?
They definitely have. They definitely have an account in our system. So we have a lot of people that call back when they move, and we continue to help people on to their next move.
You know, how ready for this service do you think the relocation industry is? I think there's great product market fit, but sometimes the market doesn't even recognize it. I mean, where is the industry? I mean, most of the folks watching are industry types, right? Not consumers. Yeah. So where are they in the mindset?
Look, I think it's a unique service, and you know, Relo is similar to the real estate community, and you kind of have a guy for everything along the way. But when it comes to here's your keys and getting into your house, that it kind of stops there, right? So on the question of how ready is the industry, it's how ready is the industry to provide extended value, right? How ready are they to provide value to their clients? And that's really what we do, is that we make that referring partner look great, right? We talk about, we talked about gushing over the referral partner, right? So if you're coming from a relocation company or your company that you're moving into, we're going to say, man, they really care about you. They give you this service because they know that moving's stressful. And this is look, if you really think about it, this is the question everybody needs to ask themselves and their friends and families, like, what was your experience like last time you moved, setting up your home service utilities? And shut up and see what people say.
It's not good. It can't be good.
No, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a horror story, right? So if the relocation, industry is ready to take that stress off of people's plate, the time is right. You know, that's what I say when they tell us a horror story, and I'm like, I keep poking, like, oh my God, really? Tell me more. Yeah. And I get them fired up and get them agitated, right? And I go, you know what? That's exactly what we do. We make sure that no one ever has to go through that again. Yeah. Right. And it's an emotional experience. Like, moving is emotional. Yeah. And we connect with our customers on an emotional level. Yeah. And then you get there and your couch is finally there and your TV's finally hung and you sit down and you just want everything to work. Yeah. I mean, you make the house a home. We just help you along the way, right? Yeah. Make sure your lights are on, TV's on, internet's on. That's more important than hot water nowadays. But I mean, everything's on when you move in the house, and we coordinate the scheduling of it because there's a certain order of things. So they can just move in and just walk in like day one, everything's on. Everything's on. Installed at everything. Cable box is already hooked up. It's on the floor, whatever, it's over there. Yep. Internet routers over there in the corner and everything. That's a nice service. It's huge, man. That's a really nice service. Really think about that. Ask yourself and ask other people that question. What was your experience like? I guarantee you they're going to have horror stories. This is Richard says, loving the product placement, bottle of vodka in the foreground. Richard, it is club soda. It's a mineral water from the mineral springs. Richard, what country are you from? He's Polish, but he's from England. Oh, and so his mind's on the vodka. But you need Topo. This is Topo. We're in work mode, Richard. This ain't a Saba wine event. It's Richard. A different time zone where he's at. I hope Richard's already. He's in the bag out there. It's 10 o'clock where he's at, man. He's just. Anyway, Richard, we love Richard. Dude, Richard's crazy. But the other thing too, from a partnership standpoint, that I've been struck. I mean, the customer experience is phenomenal. I think we all agree. It makes sense. It's obvious. It's frankly, it's obvious. And it's curious to me, like, why, as an industry that's been around for 60 years, why we haven't really been doing this for a long time. It's been put on. I mean, I think it's probably been put on relocation companies. Mm-hmm. Some relocation companies are doing it. They're giving them a piece of paper. They're giving them a website to try to go and figure it out. Right. The websites that are out there now are more work than you think. You go to the website, you put in your address, you got 8 pages of things to choose from, right? We're going to eliminate all those choices and just provide you things that are relevant. And so it just hasn't been top of mind. And as we're talking about creating value and then transaction and creating value for your clients, this is an easy no-brainer, right? Well, and this is the other thing too, and the time is right now for this, because we're all looking for more revenue in the business, right? You know, how's the industry? Every day I talk to a CEO or president of a company in the relocation space that's asking me, what do I see the future being? What do I see the market? What's the market looking like? I.e., when are we gonna start making some more money? And what I've seen through partnerships with Move Concierge is that y'all put some significant referral dollars back in your partners' pockets, which, I mean, it's significant right now. When we see people laying people off in our industry, when we see volumes, contracting, I think it's more important than ever that we figure out ways to extract and monetize every aspect of this event that we're managing. Yeah, there's definitely a revenue share component to it. We love to partner with partners that understand the value first, right? The revenue share is just to keep everybody honest and keep that relationship sticky. And yes, in tough times, that revenue does make sense. It's coming back, and it makes a difference the way things are. But now's the time to do something. Now's the time to act, because when things crank up again, then you're going to be back in the same situation, right? So now's the time to build it, to integrate it into your systems. And so when the market is compressing and people are competing for this business, it's just another quiver in your hat. Yeah. Right. I mean, you're going to pitch, a relocation company is going to go pitch Goldman Sachs, and they got 3 of them. Right. And the one that has us in their quiver say, look, we get your customers, we get your employees back to work faster. What's that worth to you? I think you could win or lose the deal. I think it could be huge at a best and final RFP presentation,
there's so many RMCs. I'll just use RMCs. I mean, this happens to moving companies. It happens to business immigration firms. There's a lot of quote unquote sameness in the business, and I hear this from. I mean, this is what clients are saying. Clients are like, I don't see a lot of distinguishable differences between these RMCs. So how do you pick? I mean, I literally heard one client say, well, the one guy had a nice shirt on. So that's the one we end up going with.
And it's very
so I mean, having something like a Move Concierge in your quiver or in your toolkit, so to speak, from a customer experience standpoint, could be that one thing that makes you stand out.
And dude, I mean, how important is it to get your employees to work as quickly as possible, right?
I mean, that's the whole point of the relocation. That and the tax benefit. The tax benefit's gone away. So really about the employee experience and getting them back to work as fast as possible and being productive.
Yeah, and having a happy employee. That's, I mean, it is. Think about it. Like during the process, you got a guy for everything. And this, you got a relocation company, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to handle a lot of the little stuff. But if they don't handle this part, you got a guy for everything. And all of a sudden, oh, welcome to your new home. Well, what I do? I'm in a new area. I don't know what the utilities are. I don't know about deregulation in Texas. I didn't know I had 3 choices for my internet. I didn't know
because it wasn't always
choices.
That way. If you haven't moved in the last 15 years, you may not even know that you have a choice of utility companies.
Yeah. And then you get down a rabbit hole and you're wasting time versus, hey, we know moving's stressful. It's important to you to be happy, to be on time on work and be happy in your job. We're going to give you this. And you know what? Maybe it's not for you, or maybe it's for your spouse, but whoever's dealing with it, they're really going to appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. We got some questions coming in here. Nan says, is there platform for clients to see the progress or itemized progress to ensure nothing was left behind or the process is on schedule? So
they're actually assigned a concierge that helps them make their selection, and then they're assigned a coordinator. And that coordinator is going to keep them in a loop and everything. And there is a portal that they can see the progress, but they can call, text, email.
Oh, I like
whatever that concierge or coordinator. So we're going to communicate. We're all about choice. So if you're a text person, boom, we're going to text with you, right? We're not have to make you wait on the phone. If you want to email, we'll email with you, right? However you want to be communicated with, we'll do it fast and efficient.
I like that, because the last thing I need in my life is another password login. So like I don't like. So for me, like having a portal,
it's all text enabled.
Yeah.
If you forget your login, boom, send me a verification code.
Having a portal is great, but I'm not going to check it. Just shoot me a text and let me know what I need to know.
Some people will, but
some people will.
Yeah. So you got to meet the customers where they want to be met.
Yeah, for sure. Good question. Good question. Let's see. Oh, Richard has a daft question. I understand you set up all the services. Do you also handle the issues which might crop up, or do householders need to go direct to suppliers for that? And also, do you handle terminating the services? Ooh, that's interesting. Do you handle terminating the services when the householder moves on? So if you have an issue, like switch electric companies and my card that I put on file for auto pay, my credit card got canceled, so I didn't, and now I have an issue or a service issue.
Yeah. So today things are changing. We're evolving quickly. We're growing into some things where, I mean, we'll say this. Imagine if you never had to call a provider again. You could communicate with us in text.
Yeah.
What would that be worth to you on a monthly subscription?
It might be. And honestly, it might be worth like a $9.99 or something. It might be something I would sign up for, like just a Your
bills are taken care of. You ever had an issue?
I would pay $10 a month, give or take, to never have to talk to any of these people again.
Yes. So today we make the connection, and once your billing starts, you go with the provider themselves. But that's on the roadmap for future. It's just never have to talk to a call center again.
Yeah.
Only communicate with your concierge.
Oh gosh. Love it. Second part question is, if I call you and say, hey, I'm moving over to here, 123 Main Street. Move-in date is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. I need my internet and my power going for this Cinco de Mayo party I'm about to have. Can you also terminate my power at my residence?
If we can work with both parties. So if you're buying the place, if we can work with the seller, then we can do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because we do get involved in the real estate transaction, the move out, the move in.
Yeah. If we have both of them, we eliminate it for the seller, because the person that's moving out of the house, they don't have to make those phone calls, because once the order goes in, it shuts the power off, or it shuts the utility off. Yeah.
Got it. Fascinating. I want to go back just because I'm curious about this stuff, and keep the questions coming. I love these questions. It's really interesting to hear the way people think about these things. Hit that like button again. Let us know. Let us know you're out there. But I want to go back to your story and your journey here, because you're an entrepreneur, and I really admire what you've built with Move Concierge. You know, and you came to my office today, which is cool, and it's always nice to have like people in your home, you know, in your work home and everything, and show it off. And I was asking you, I was like, you know, what was your first office space like? And you were about to tell me, and I was like, you know what? Let me ask you. Let me ask you when we're doing this.
Yeah. So the first office space was a satellite warehouse where we had the satellite installation company, right?
Okay, because you were pivoting out of the satellite, or you were doing
we
this
just
also.
shut that down a couple of years ago. So
okay,
we've been in that business, and so it started out warehouse in the back, 2 offices in the front, 2 bathrooms, and we kind of grew off of that and put in kind of a sales center next to it. And so it was horrible. I can't believe I've got 3 or 4 employees that's been with me since that time,
the warehouse days,
and I can't believe they're still with me. It's amazing. I mean, so you got to imagine. So you got satellite technicians that are coming in the mornings. You got 2 bathrooms, male and a female. There's only probably 2 or 3 ladies in the office, and and we had somebody running that office, and she would lock the ladies' door. No dudes were let in there. I mean, she was the mama bear of the office. But in that sales center that we built out, I built it out as nice, not as nice as your office, I'll tell you that much, man, right? I mean, for sure. I mean, I had some dude come in there and hand build the stuff and like wrap it. It was ghetto fabulous.
But the more humble your beginnings, I feel like the better you're set up for success. Because I hear a lot of entrepreneurs say, and I'm a big fan of Gary Vee, for instance, right? And he'll be like, "Y'all, you're being too fancy. You're too fancy too early," right?
This was not fancy. I'll tell you a funny story.
Not fancy is a good foundation.
So, I mean, it was a warehouse with this built inside, but I'll tell you funny about fancy. So there was a conference room.
Yeah. And
there was these, somehow I got these 2, like probably, they were 4 foot by 8 foot doors. And I built the fanciest freaking conference table you can imagine. So I had somebody build it, stain it to look like mahogany, like dye it, and then had it.
I got one of those.
And then had it. No, it wasn't nice live edge that you got. Okay. No. It was 2 doors that I made into a big conference room, right? Table. Built a stand, came and routed out like a 2-inch thing all the way around it, inlaid some metal on it.
Yeah.
Like it was the most ridiculous thing ever. But I always tried to be a little bit extra.
Yeah.
But so you walk in and it's not nice, and you walk in, you got this huge nice conference room. It's like, what is this guy doing? So it's we definitely had humble beginnings. When I hired my COO, we tell the story, and I don't think I did this on purpose, but he's like, you know what? I never came to the office until I started. My first day in the office, I was like, what happened?
Oh, so you're like meeting him at Starbucks for coffee or something?
I met him like at my buddy's offices that had floors, pimped out, amazing conference rooms, like amazing conference rooms. And he comes in there, he's like, and he tells me, he's like, his wife came to visit him. He's like, what happened?
What did you do?
What did you
Why
do?
Did you do?
So very quickly, we moved out of that space, and we're in the building we're in now. And we took
So you went from the office in the warehouse with the locked up ladies' room and the decent conference room, but nothing else nice.
Oh, I forgot about the AC. Sorry.
Oh,
this is a good one.
This is important.
It's a good one. In the summertime, the AC wasn't balanced properly, right, between the 2, because I just added it on.
Yeah.
And so I had to prop the front door open and put a window unit in there to blow some 80-degree heat in there. It was miserable. So we were there. And then we moved to the building that we're in now, and we took a quarter of a floor, and it was cool because I got to build that out completely from scratch, branded it, built a really cool conference room table. I got a thing with conference room
tables.
The conference room table I built in the first place had some mahogany down the middle, had these custom metal and granite things that you could move. You could move it into a conference room or spin it out into a deal.
The table change configurations or whatever.
Yeah. And so we were there for a couple of years, and then we actually moved up to a floor above on the 6th floor where we're at. So we have a whole floor now, And on the conference room tip, when we moved in, all the furniture was supposed to stay, and they have this.
Yeah.
I don't know. You need to check it out when you're there next week.
I don't know if I've seen the conference room yet.
There's like a round deal on the top, and there was a round conference room table.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome.
It's perfect.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
When we went to move in, that conference room table disappeared.
It was gone.
Gone. So
but you thought you negotiated the furniture with the.
It was supposed to stay.
Right.
So for 2 years, we had this long, weird looking table in there. It was fine, but you need to check out the conference room table next time.
I will check it out next week.
It's a round Knights of the Round table.
Yeah.
Conference room table, and
it's a circle, or is it like
it's a circle with an opening? So like, if you need to be in the spotlight, you just come in the circle with
an opening in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it could be fun. So, but yeah, it's funny. Like I got a thing for conference.
Well, no, I feel the same way. I mean, one of the things I did when I got this space, one of the first things I did was I splurged on that conference room table.
I saw the live edge.
It's bootleg. It's bootleg live edge. I don't think it's really live edge. I think it's 2 boards put together and they just cut it funky and then made it 2 different colors.
It looks good.
To try to fool. Thank you.
I built 2 live edge tables.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I think I got it. I mean, you furniture business.
You like tables, man.
I built the one at my house. I built the one at the lake house.
Yeah. So that was one of the things I had to build. I found somebody on like Facebook Marketplace. They build tables. Husband, wife. So I got that table, and getting that table, I had no chairs to put around it. I had nothing to put on it. It was just sitting in the middle of the thing. But I felt like I needed that conference room table. And that would made you legit. That made you feel like you made it.
That's
I had no meetings to have it. I had no chairs to sit at it. It was like 2 of us in the office, but for some reason I needed that conference room table.
That is so true. That's funny.
There's something about that.
I recognized when I came in. And obviously, after this conversation, I'm a table connoisseur. So
we might have to go out there and like peep the edge a little bit. And be like, okay, check the craftsmanship.
I did touch you when I came in. You may have saw me. I was like,
kind of do like that.
I was like that.
That's
a nice one.
It had a little thickness. You got to measure the thickness because you pay extra for the thickness.
It was good.
Yeah,
but yeah, man. Definitely humble beginnings, and we're.
When did things change for you? So when did you realize, okay, this is actually like the business. This isn't just like a little side hustle from the business. This ain't just like a kind of cute idea that like, let's see if it works. This is actually the business.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of times throughout the journey, but one I think it's so funny. So we handle probably about 20,000 customers a month right now nationwide.
Wow, a month.
Yeah, and so
holy smokes,
I remember back in the day, I got a home inspection company to send me 100 leads a month, right? And so I built a model on those 100 leads, and I'm like, oh, like we can scale this. Like this makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one. And then when I hired our COO in 2016, that was another one. And he really came in and put efficiencies and operations in place into this crazy idea that I had, and got us out of that office space as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so, I mean, I knew I had something then. And then really the next iteration of that is, kind of COVID we were successful during COVID. We were able to hire remotely.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we kind of rode the market down a little bit the past 2 years, but then I just invested in this next round of leadership. So I brought in a president and a CRO that came from big companies and has a lot of experience. And I spent 4 hours with them, and they were sold. They were done. They saw it. They got it.
Yeah.
They'd been there before, and they are so excited to be on the team. And so, I think there's different points in your journey where you realize something like, I had something, when I got this amount of leads, and then when I made this hire, and then when this happened. So that's probably the 3 kind of critical points where I knew I had something, because early on I still had the satellite business, right?
Yeah, you had businesses that were doing well, obviously.
And so that's kind of the 3 stages. And I tell you, right now we're more excited than ever, just because I think the market's ready for it. They're ready to add value, and really what we're expanding into this post-close perspective of really staying in touch with the customer for life. Like we want to be the concierge for life, but in return, we're going to be able to give our real estate partners, our referral partners, the ability to stay in front of their customer for life.
Wow. Yeah, I'm thinking about this now, and this whole for life thing, because that moving event triggers so many purchasing decisions.
Yeah.
So it's the reason when you change your address with the post office, they start sending you Pottery Barn catalogs,
everything,
and Home Depot
right?
coupons, and I mean, so that makes a ton of sense.
So we can come in and create that great experience pre-close. Then of
Mhm.
course they're going to listen to us. So of course they're going to want us to
Mhm.
help, right? And we can eliminate, just like we were eliminated on the front end. Like I talked to somebody the other day, and they're like, "Man, I just moved into a house. I don't know, I need some handyman work done, like just some basic stuff. Like I don't know who to call. Like it's either Google,
Yeah.
right, or it's Angie's List, or maybe you got a buddy that's got a guy, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, you're lost. And so we want them to call us first and foremost if they need anything for their house, right? And just like we saved them that time, stress, and money
Mhm.
on the front end, sorting through all the red tape, the BS, whatever you want to call it, we can do the same thing. Like, oh, you need a painter? Boom.
I was just thinking painters.
Yeah.
You paint your house before you sell it, and you paint your house when you move into it.
Yeah. This is your guy. This is your guy in your zip code. Right. You don't need to call anybody else. This is the guy.
Yeah.
Right. And we just save them time, money, stress, make sure we get a great service professional out there and help them with anything they need for their house. So it's the next evolution of what we're doing, but it doesn't work without what we've done for 14 years. Right. There's companies coming in the industry that want to do all the post-close stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't get it. You got to give the ability to sell through our service. You got to give something first, right? So we save people time, money, and stress. And I tell people, like, listen, you're not selling stuff. You're providing a service. You're just helping them pick, right? And when you have that service first mindset, then everything else opens up to you.
You're talking about a lot of services here, and it makes a lot of sense to me. I just remember, I moved a couple of years ago, and so the stuff's fresh in my mind. But was there ever like something like you did that didn't work, or you tried to offer that was like too much?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think
where you're like, okay, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I think we're a big fan of staying in our lane, right? And what we're doing is just the next evolution. And so I was always very conscious of being good and staying in our lane. And there's a lot of things I wanted to do that either, my team was like, not now. And I think timing wise, all those ideas over the last, really 14 years are coming to fruition. Like it's the timing's right to do it now. The market's ready. Our company's ready. The technology's there. The partners are there. So we're really building this portal for your house, right? You have a portal for everything else. Why wouldn't you have a portal or a hub for your biggest investment that you'll ever make, right? Where everything is there together. You can access it. You've got your history of of the maintenance of your house. You've got all your vendors there. Everything is there right at your fingertips.
Yeah, no, I like that value add too, because every time you get somebody to service your furnace or do something, I have a hard time like tracking those repairs. Like with my car, it's easy. I just throw it in the glove box. But like with my house, like I don't remember what I did, when I did it, or who I used last.
Yeah.
They might give you a magnet, but if you don't keep the magnet for 5 years until your furnace goes out again or AC goes out again, so there's a lot of value, I think, in kind of consolidating that and having one hand to shake kind of thing.
Absolutely, man. So timing's good right now.
Yeah. Now you talk about timing. Now I want to get your thoughts, because you're 20,000 customers per month that you're exposed to, you're seeing. I want to get your thoughts about, when you talk about timing, what are you seeing in the real estate market right now, with volumes, with home ownership, right? What is the state of home ownership? It's in the news right now with the NAR thing. We're really thinking a lot about with interest rates. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I think 2020 and 21 was a fluke that'll never happen in maybe our lifetime, right? And so if you put that in perspective, there was 5.5 to 6 million people moving during that time of year. There's still 4 million people moving. There's a lot of people moving. That means the market's down 20, 30%, but there's still a lot of people that are moving. And I think there's a lot of pent up demand. We can get this interest rates to kind of creep down a little bit. Then I think it'll unlock some things. But the hope is that it just gradually increases. Because I think, turning it and when we go back to, 5, 6 million people moving, it's not good for anybody, right? Right now it's not great for a lot of people. But turning that on where it's just, multiple offers and just,
that was crazy. 30 offers. Like, up here in North Texas, especially, it was bananas.
Yeah. That's not good for the industry. That's not good for, the housing valuation spiking like that. I mean, you want good, steady growth.
Yeah, you can't get financed because the home prices are just taking off like crazy because you just get these bidding wars, $100,000 over ask or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you got to come to the table, all that earnest money on top of your down payment. Yeah, it wasn't healthy either.
No,
it was
not at all.
Unhealthy amount of demand.
Yeah, and as far as the lawsuits go, I mean, it's a mess, right? But if you really look back over the last decades, there's been big things that have changed the industry, right? And so I think this is just the next milestone that's going to change the industry. This has been going on for years, right? So it just finally came to a head. But I think the industry will get past it. The industry is resilient. Look, I mean, just 4 years ago, if you think about it, you couldn't show a house.
Yeah,
we were locked in our homes, and we got through that. Right.
Yeah.
And was successful through that. Right.
Yeah. If we can get through that, we can get through anything.
And so it's going to change the industry. It's going to make the professionals in the industry be professional and add value to the transaction and prove their worth and show the value they bring. So I think it's going to make everybody better.
Yeah.
And we fit right into that. The timing couldn't have been better because we're the easiest way for a real estate professional to show value in the transaction. Right.
Well, and I think also times like this too, tough times, they kind of you kind of cull the herd, frankly, from a competition standpoint, right?
Sure.
I mean, there was everybody was a realtor, 2 years ago. Everybody's getting in the real estate. Everybody's getting in the mortgage game, right? You had a whole lot of people getting into these kind of games, and now recruiting game.
Yeah, and it's a profession. It's not a side hustle to be a real estate professional,
yeah, it should
a mortgage professional, right? It shouldn't be. Do you really want somebody this is their part-time job?
No, but there was a lot of that.
There was because you could throw a stick in the air and you could sell a house and make a commission, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just not good for the industry. I think it's going to overall, we're going to look back in 2 or 3 years and we're going to be in a better state. But it's really, I just went to this conference in Phoenix and it was all about value, right? How do we add value to transaction? And they did a really good job of looking back and showing all the changes. Like every decade or so, there's a big change, right? And so we're just in the middle of it. It's a time of change. It's a time of transition, and the industry will get through it, right? And we want to be there to help and serve and support and add value to the transactions to those professionals and let them stand out.
Yeah, awesome. We got another question here. Hit that like button one more time. We've only got time maybe for one more question, 2 more questions. Get in the comments. I want to hear from you. This is really, really interesting. I'm learning a lot. I love the entrepreneurial journey as well. Richard says, are all the services offered by one account handler per client? So how do you look at that? Do you have a dedicated coordinator, or is it like, you favor the having someone always ready, and having multiple people?
Everybody. So we have a concierge that's handling the first conversations, helping the customer select their services. And that concierge is assigned to that person.
Okay.
Right? So once you're assigned to that person, you can email, text, call, fax, whatever you want to do, right? Easiest.
So they really are a concierge because they're like, you're dedicated to you.
Right. Yeah. You've got
so you have like a relationship with them.
Yeah. You've got a guy. Right. And then once the selections are made, then you're passed to a dedicated coordinator that makes all the connections and gets everything coordinated, right? And if there's any changes that need to be made, if the moving gets pushed or whatever, then you communicate with that coordinator again, phone, email, text, whatever is best for you.
So you kind of like a tandem that are working with you, sales and service kind of duo.
Exactly.
Yeah, good question, Richard. Very cool. What's maybe something that people, should be thinking about that maybe we're not? Like what's kind of on your mind that maybe we're not all thinking about yet? Maybe we need to take a second to kind of explore.
When you say people, the industry or
people moving industry or business people or individuals moving. I mean, what's kind of one of those things like lately that you're just like, this is really interesting and this is going to be kind of a big deal?
Yeah, I think it goes back, I keep saying it, but it goes back to what kind of professional do you want to be? Do you want to be a professional that's going to add value, that's going to make people remember you? And this goes for real estate professionals, for relocation companies, for the companies that are bringing people in. We want to, we tell the concierge, look, Utility Concierge or Move Concierge now, it's going to take me a little bit to get used to that, right?
Yeah. Well, we just so we might as well tell people. I mean, you did this rebrand, right?
Yeah.
So it was for 14 years, Utility Concierge,
Right.
And now, boom, Move Concierge. And that's like, I mean, the paint's still wet on that thing.
Yeah, like a week. So I'm just, it's going to
breaking news.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. Like the sign people were in the office, and I've gotten in the elevator with them. And I was like, "What are y'all doing?" It's like, "Oh, I had to recover the ping pong table, the basketball goal, and all this." I'm like, I was like, I was excited about the rebrand. I mean, I knew it was coming, but man, our team was just like, rip it off,
thorough, very comprehensive rebrand.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it comes back to adding value. We tell the concierge that Utility Concierge or Move Concierge, again, man, it's going to take some time. Move Concierge in itself is an amazing concept, right? Right. It's a great service, but it's their job to make it an experience, right? They take the service, they take the culture, and it's their job to make it a mind-blowing customer experience, right? And y'all are in the moving business. Listen, it's not a service, guys. It is an experience. It is an emotional experience moving, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. You start diving in people's last time they moved, they're going to let you know how it went, right?
Yeah.
And so looking at what y'all provide to the clients and elevating that, right? I say that service is expected. You go to a restaurant, you expect to have good service, right?
It's a nice restaurant, yeah.
But an experience is an emotional connection, right? When you have an experience, you remember it because it's emotional.
Yeah, I mean, and that's how I felt about my interaction with I think his name was Jim. I was like, wow, that was easy. Like that was like, and I felt like, what's funny too? I felt like this weight come off my shoulders that I didn't even know was there. But then when it was removed, I was like,
well, dude, because I'm sure you were hot.
Well, and my wife was on me about this. And this is the worst thing is when my wife's on me and she's right. She's on me like, you got to take care of this. This bill's ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. And she's right. And so like now I got this thing and I'm like an entrepreneur. I'm trying to like run a business. And I'm like trying to live life but job one's keep mama happy, right? Yeah. I always say I'm the CEO, but she's the chairman.
Well, I get
you know what I'm saying? So I got to keep her happy, right? And so I'm CEO at work, but I'm just the handyman at home,
Right.
So I got to fix this situation. So to your point about the experience, when it was so easy and it was done, and I knew that my kilowatt hour was going to go from like 22 to like 14, I was like, damn, all right.
You were hot, right? And so your emotion level's high.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and you get on the phone with us. Yeah. We take care of you. Like, oh man, that was easy. Your emotion level goes down. So put yourself in the shoes of somebody moving to a new state.
Yeah.
Two parents working, 2-3 kids in school.
Yeah.
Right. And they got a guy for everything along the way. And then they get to this new area like, oh my God, I forgot to do this. I thought you were going to do it. No, you're going to do it. Right.
Yeah. And so now you can blame the other guy.
And you're hot. Like, I don't want to do that. Or they spend 2 hours on the phone trying
to
figure
I could just text them. Because you can't text the power company.
No.
You can't text the phone company or the cable company. I got an email about my AT&T bill like here, in the office or whatever, right? My internet. And they're like, oh, we're going to suspend your service in 5 days if you don't pay your bill. I'm like, I had it on auto pay. Now I got to log in. I forget my password. I got to reset my password. I got to re-authenticate. I come back in. It's like I'm looking at it. It says it's on auto pay. It's got the right card number on there. And there's no phone number. There's no they don't want to talk to me. No.
So we eliminate that. I mean, it's an emotional thing.
I'm getting emotional right now.
Money, moving, whatever it is, it's emotion. We just alleviate that stress, that emotion, and save you money. It's pretty simple.
I love it. This is great. It's a fantastic service. Richard says the same shit. Thanks everybody for checking this out. Gabe's an amazing human. It's an amazing company. I'm a customer, not just a partner, but I'm also a customer. It's really an honor to have you here and to be able to partner with Move Concierge. You guys are kind of, re-engineering this what the experience means. I think that's really cool. And making things quick and easy and simple, which is like kind of what we're looking for now.
Yeah, we live in a society of instant gratification. Like we're the easy button.
Easy button, right? Scroll through it, Netflix and on demand it, and I see that and y'all have taken something that has been very bureaucratic and archaic for a long time and just streamlined it and made it and just brought it into the 21st century.
It's made it easy, man. And so the real estate, I mean, the relocation professionals out there, we're the same thing. We're the easy button for you. You want to offer this service?
Mm-hmm.
Great. We figured it out. Partner with us. Now
Yeah.
you can add it to your list of things you offer.
Talk about that. How can people partner with you? What should they do if they're interested in partnering with
so
with
just
Concierge?
really easy. Gowithmc.com. So
Mhm.
gowithmc.com.
Yep.
And that puts you in front of our business development team.
Yep.
Talks a little about what we do and how we can do it. But it's easy. We've got API set up. We integrate into your system. Like it's not a heavy lift. Like the
Mhm.
biggest thing is educating your team on how to pitch it. We're there with you along the way.
Yep.
We give you materials to do that. We make it easy, right? We're the easy button for the person moving in, but we've taken that same mentality in with our partners, right? We make it super easy for you.
Yeah, because those things can be difficult, and nobody wants that, right? You know, I got to say personally, you know, I've recommended probably 3 different relocation management companies to y'all, destination service provider company, several moving companies, actually, a corporate housing company. So, I mean, really everybody that's in the relocation ecosystem, in my opinion, can probably be a partner for you.
Yeah, if you're touching somebody that's moving and you want to add value to that customer, then we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So check out Gabe, check out Move Concierge, go with
MC.com. Go with MC.com.
All right, cool. If you got any questions about how it works, also you can just DM me and I'll, you know, happy to answer your questions. This has been great, y'all. Thanks for being here. Stay tuned tomorrow. We got another show, same time. And yeah, it's good having you here.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you.
Take care, everybody. See you soon.